Alright guys, back-to-back days and we are back for another Championship transfer rumour roundup update. Plenty has happened in the Championship over the last 24 hours, so I thought I'd get it all into a video today. As always, any other rumours that you've seen in the Championship, get them in the comments down below. And a quick call to action as well, if you're not already subscribed, make sure to go ahead and do so. This is your best place to stay informed. And over 70% of you who watch the videos still aren't subscribed to the channel. Before we get into any transfer news though, let's first of all go into some managerial speculation. As of recording, Burnley are still without a head coach heading into next season, but it seems like they're closing in on their man. Seems more than likely that Scott Parker will be the next Burnley manager. Now, plenty of candidates have been taken into consideration. We've spoken about some of them over the last few weeks on the channel, but as of recording, as cited by multiple sources, seems more than likely that the next man in at Turf Moor will be Parker. And I'd be interested to get some Burnley reactions to this one because I'm a little bit mixed on it, I'm not going to lie. Now, Parker is a manager with 2 Championship promotions already on his CV as a manager. Not many other people can claim that. Obviously, a promotion with Fulham and with Bournemouth as well. Even in those promotion seasons with Parker, I think it's fair to say there were a few red flags that sort of came up along the way, whether that was down to style of play, in-game management, or it was always sort of thrown at Parker that with both those teams he had, which for Championship level were brimming with talent, he never quite got the maximum out of either side potentially, despite still getting them over the line and promoted. And obviously then left both clubs on a bit of a sour note, and his time in Belgium with Club Brugge didn't exactly go to plan either. With all that being said, Parker has proven that he can work with a top-end Championship squad, and let's face it, that's what Burnley are going to have next season. While I think still a lot of people are quite right to have some doubts over Parker and definitely his ability to step up and manage in the Premier League, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't have Burnley in the top 6 next season, I really would. Burnley fans, I'd love to get your perspective on that down below. It's definitely going to get people talking. Now going into some done deals we've seen go through in the Championship of late. We saw Sheffield Wednesday completing a deal for Olav Kabaki. The Polish forward joins the Owls for an undisclosed fee and is another option that's bolstered that forward line. Obviously, we recently saw them bringing in Jamal Lowe as well. Leo Wallstedt has left Blackburn Rovers. He's moved to Danish club AGF, so we would expect Blackburn to be in the market for another goalkeeper this summer. We saw Leeds United midfielder Darko Gyabi returning to Plymouth Argyle on loan for next season. Spent a portion of last season on loan at Home Park. I think that's a deal which will probably suit both parties there. And we've also seen Mohamed Tijani joining Plymouth Argyle on loan from Slavia Prague. Forward was a bit of a bit-part player there last season where he scored 4 goals across all competitions. Standing at 6'3", he's another option for Rooney's side up front next season. And one that we didn't mention from last time, we obviously saw Aidan Morris completing his move to Middlesbrough. We did discuss him on one of the previous transfer videos. Comes over from Columbus Crew in MLS for a fee of around £3 million. I'm quite excited to see what the midfielder can offer. Really good underlying stats in MLS this season. 22 years old as well, so got plenty of potential. Following almost 10 years away from the club, Jonathan Bond has returned to Watford on a free transfer after spending the last few years of his career with LA Galaxy. Can't imagine he'd be going into Watford as a number 1 choice, but a backup option there. The other week we also saw West Brom completing a deal for Mali holding midfielder Ousmane Diakite. The 23-year-old is coming over from the Austrian Bundesliga. But those are some of the done deals we've seen go through in the Championship over these past few days. Now without any further ado, let's jump into the rumours. And the first place to start out is with Leeds United and Georginio Rutter. Have a feeling it's going to be a very busy few weeks for Leeds in the build-up to this new Championship season. The latest news we've got coming out of Ellen Road is they've rejected a £30 million offer from Brighton for the services of Rutter. Now, Leeds in this transfer window have already banked a big chunk of change through the sale of Archie Gray. We expect a few more sales here and there, but Rutter's obviously a player that they want to keep hold of heading into next season. He was their club record signing when they picked him up in the Premier League. Took a little bit of time to get going, but last season in the Championship was absolutely fabulous, barring a few inconsistent patches of finishing. His all-round game was so important to Daniel Farke's side last season, and the ace that Leeds have up in their sleeve in terms of Rutter is the fact that he is tied down to a long-term contract until the summer of 2028. Honestly, I can see the appeal of why a side like Brighton would be interested. I think he'd be a really nice fit into that sort of of side with the technical footballer that he is, but Leeds have rejected the £30 million offer. Will be interesting to see if Brighton are prepared to go much higher than that. It's obviously been well documented that Crescencio Somerville is being eyed up by plenty of Premier League clubs and teams from across Europe as well, and interestingly, Brighton are another one of those clubs who do hold an interest in the Leeds United man. A potential double deal there could be on the cards if they do go back in for Rutter, but Somerville's under contract until 2026, but it's definitely going to take the big bucks to get him out of Ellen Road. And what does the future hold for Leeds midfielder Glenn Kamara, because he is drumming up quite a bit of interest right now. Stade Rennes, the latest side who I have seen interested in the Leeds United midfielder. Last season, the 28-year-old featured in 40 championship matches, so did play in the vast majority of games, racked up just shy of 3,000 minutes in the championship. We'll have to wait and see what updates we get on that story over these next few days. Leeds United have rejected an offer from Real Betis for Diego Llorente. I'd be very surprised if Llorente was planning on sticking around at Ellen Road next season, given he spent the last year and a half out on loan with Rumour. It's thought that Leeds have rejected Real Betis' opening bid because it's deemed to be a little bit too low. If the Spanish side are willing to up that in the coming weeks, I'd expect a sale to go through. And we also have a big story relating to both Jacob Greaves and Jadon Philogene right now. We'll speak about Greaves first of all, who is now the subject of serious interest from Ipswich Town. The latest reports claiming that Ipswich have lodged a £30 million plus double deal in an attempt to sign both Greaves and Philogene in the same window. Now, Greaves, one of the best defenders in the Championship from last season. The interest from Ipswich, I think, makes sense that they're shopping in this sort of market. Is £30 million going to be enough to get you both Greaves and Philogene though? I'm not so sure. Obviously, speaking of Jadon Philogene, he is the second player that's been seriously targeted by Ipswich Town right now, and part of that double bid that they have gone in for. Now, in terms of Philogene, I mean, sort of like Greaves, I suppose, he has plenty of suitors on the table this summer. A few videos ago we spoke about Barcelona's reported interest in him. The only snag with Barcelona being interested is they'd want a loan with the option to buy. So Hull wouldn't be receiving the money straight up for him if he was to go to Barcelona in this transfer window. £30 million is a lot of money to be thrown around, especially in the Championship. But from Hull's perspective, how much they've been able to negotiate for players in the past, I'd imagine that number would need to be bumped up a little bit. Speaking of Ipswich Town as well, we've seen Václav Hagley departing the club, and so it's no secret that they will be in the market for a new goalkeeper. One of the shot stoppers they have been linked to in recent days is Luton Town's Thomas Kaminski, and once again you could see why Ipswich would be in this sort of market. Kaminski, always been quite a fan of him, really. Obviously, really good shot stopper from his time previously at Blackburn Rovers, and then last season in the Premier League for Luton was really kept on his toes, but one of Luton's best performers. Made an abundance of saves and a good shot stopper at that level. You can see why Ipswich would be interested. It looks as if Sheffield Wednesday are closing in on a deal for Charlie McNeil, the former Manchester United youngster who was let go this summer and is available on a free transfer. Really highly thought of during his youth career. He had spells in both the Manchester United and Manchester City youth academies, it's worth pointing out. Had a brief loan spell out last season with Stevenage, but didn't get much of a chance and was ultimately recalled from that in January. 20 years old, still looks quite raw, but definitely a player with a lot of potential. Clubs from around Europe and even in North America have been interested, but it does seem as if Wednesday are leading the race for his signature. As of recording, also looks as if Sheffield Wednesday are closing in on a deal to bring back James Beadle for next season as well. The goalkeeper did really well while out on loan at Hillsborough last season, and I think this one ticks a lot of boxes from Wednesday's perspective, who have been very proactive in this transfer window so far. Obviously, Wednesday have already added to their goalkeeper department with the signing of Ben Hamer. He's expected to come in probably as their new number 2. Then you'd expect Beadle to be that starter for next season. Louis Sibley is now available on a free transfer following his contract at Derby expiring, and plenty of clubs are interested in the 22-year-old midfielder. A few clubs around League One have been sniffing around, but the latest reports would suggest that Oxford United are leading the race for his signature. I think this would be a nice pick-up from Oxford, if I'm being honest. Sibley, who has already featured in the Championship previously, but is also at an age where they can continue to develop him and potentially sell him on for a profit in the future. Watford have agreed the deal to sign Rutter, with the youngster coming over from Celtic, who are due to receive around about £200,000 in compensation money for this transfer. Millwall are reportedly in advanced talks to sign Reading's Femi Aziz, and I'm very excited to see how he gets on at the Den if this transfer does go through. I think last time Reading were in the Championship, he wasn't quite maybe up to the standard in the Championship, but last season in League One had a decent season. 8 goals and 9 assists isn't to be sniffed at. He's still only 23 years old as well, and so clearly Millwall have seen something in him there. It looks as though South Korean forward Ji-sung Eom is on his way to Swansea City. Intrigued to see how he gets on in the Championship. He's 22 years old, can play anywhere across the forward line. While playing in South Korea, he scored 20 goals and got 9 assists in 109 appearances. Santos fullback Lucas Pires is on his way to the Championship to sign for Burnley, with Fabrizio Romano confirming that a deal is in place for around about £1.9 million. Can't have claimed to have ever seen him play, but a Brazilian coming over to the Championship is always very exciting. Believe he completed his medical yesterday, so expect that one to be announced soon. But guys, there you have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. As always, make sure to get all your thoughts in the comments down below. Any other transfer stories that you've seen as well. It's coming thick and fast at the moment in the Championship. Other than that though, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, and I'll see you all in the next one.